Welcome back. I'm Curtis Smith. Today we're visiting with Karen Halderson, who is the Diabetes Coordinator for New Mexico State University's Cooperative Extension Service. Karen, what does diabetes and gardening, how do they go together?
People with diabetes need to watch what they eat. Foods that are high in carbohydrates make their blood sugar go up. Vegetables are low in carbohydrates, so they won't make their blood sugar go up. Plus, they're a really healthy food.
Full of vitamins and other things,
Right.
fiber, good thing. And these are things we can grow at home.
Yes, and they taste better because they're grown at home.
You like them better? And it reminds me of a story that I don't like radishes. But when I was a child, I grew radishes. Didn't like them then. But if I grew them, I could eat them. And they actually tasted good to me. There's kind of a pride factor that goes into that. And for things that we really need to eat, we should be eating, if we grow them ourselves, we're more likely to eat them. So it's good for us to garden because it'll encourage us to eat those things we ought to eat.
The other thing that's good about gardening for people with diabetes is that gardening is a form of exercise. And we encourage people who have diabetes to exercise more.
Well, that's good for people who don't have diabetes.
That's right.
And so a lot of this information is good for everyone.
That's true.
The vegetables are good for everyone.
The way that people with diabetes need to eat is the way that everyone really should eat. It's just a healthy way of eating.
Oh, these are good foods. I like summer squash. That's good for you.
That's right.
I like the bell peppers and New Mexico chilies. They're good.
The New Mexico chilies are a good source of vitamin C. The orange vegetables are a good source of vitamin A.
So we can even be programming our vitamins by which vegetables we're growing and eating.
And the vegetables can be eaten raw or they can be cooked, whichever you prefer.
Are all vegetables good in this sense, or are there some that would have too much carbohydrate, too much sugar?
There are some vegetables that are higher in carbohydrates, such as potatoes, sweet potatoes, winter squash, and corn, and they need to be eaten in smaller amounts.
You can still eat them.
Yes, but you need to watch how much you eat and how often you eat them.
You can still grow them. A lot of people like to grow corn. And potatoes usually is better to buy here in New Mexico, but some people grow potatoes here. In the southern part, some people grow sweet potatoes. They're good vegetables, but in smaller quantity.
Yes, you just need to watch the amount that you eat.
I think a lot of the times we go for the high starch in most of our diets when we really ought to go more with the high fiber and more vitamins in our diet.
That's right, and the vegetables also contain phytochemicals, which are thought to help prevent heart disease and cancer.
Those are important things too. So this is really something good to do, and we can grow these. Beans are an easy one to grow. The peppers are easy to grow. Radishes are early season. We can plant them early in the year, be harvesting them, and so that's a good way to start off. Cucumbers, squash, and these others are really good for through the summertime. So we can pretty much program our garden then to be feeding us what we need and keep us eating healthy.
Plus, then things can be preserved for the winter. Some vegetables can be frozen or canned for next winter.
Are they as good if they've been preserved?
Yes, they lose a small amount of their nutrition content, but not very much.
And so this is a good thing to do. And I'm looking at these that you purchased today. This time of the year in the winter, you know, it's hard to get good, fresh produce that hasn't been in transit for a while, and so it's not like it came right out of the garden.
Yeah, the ones out of the garden would taste better, look better, and they would actually have a higher nutrient content because the longer away from harvest, the nutrient content does go down some.
Even if we preserve it, we're still probably better off than always just going to buy it. If we need to just go buy it, we can go buy it.
That's right.
But again, there's that factor of the pride, eating what you grow, and the exercise.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of advantages to growing your own vegetables.
And how many vegetables are there we can use? I mean, this is just a few here, but the list is much longer, isn't it?
All the green vegetables, spinach, all the different lettuces, cabbage, cucumbers, you know, the list just goes on and on.
On and on. If it's just a green vegetable or one of the colorful, yellows, the oranges, the reds, probably good. Well, we have to be careful. Sweet potatoes are an orange vegetable. If somebody wanted to know more about this, is there information that's available to them?
Well, you have information on growing the vegetables. We have information on diabetes. There's a series of circulars that are called Control Your Diabetes for Life, and they're available at the county extension offices.
So if they just go by their county extension office, they've got these, which will give them the information they need. And if they're interested in growing it, the county extension also has the information you need to grow the material. Do you have any special comments now that you'd like to advise people about diabetes, how to determine if they have the problem?
If you are wondering if you have diabetes, the way it's diagnosed is with a blood test. If the fasting blood test, which is after you haven't eaten for 8 to 10 hours, is above 126, that's a diagnosis of diabetes. If you have a blood sugar test taken later in the day, if the blood sugar level is 200 or above, that's a diagnosis of diabetes.
And so a lot of people have it and don't know it. I understand New Mexico is a hot spot for diabetes.
Yes, there's a high rate of diabetes in New Mexico because of the Native American population and the Hispanic population, although all ethnic groups can get diabetes. And the American Diabetes says that about a third of the people who have diabetes don't know it yet.
And so that might include us. But you've been checked. I've recently had a blood test. And so we want you to go have your blood tested. And we want you to garden and continue gardening for a long time. Karen, thank you so much for providing this information so our gardeners can live long and well.
You're welcome.